Have you ever been in a situation where you bought something, took it home, and realized it just didn't work? Maybe it was a toaster that didn't heat up, or a pair of jeans with a hole in the pocket that you didn't see in the shop. For many English learners, the walk back to the store to fix that problem is the hardest part of the whole week. You start rehearsing what to say in your head, but your heart is beating fast. You're worried that you'll sound rude, or worse, that you won't have the right words to explain the problem, and you'll just end up walking away with the broken item because it's easier than fighting.
That is so true. I usually just end up saying nothing and throwing the item away or leaving it in a drawer. It feels like a waste of money, but I just don't want the stress of a confrontation in English.
Well, that stops today. Welcome to Talk About It in English. Today we are going to build the specific language you need to handle these real-life problems. We are going to move away from that classroom English that feels too direct and learn how to use what we call buffer phrases. These buffers are like cushions for your conversation. In English-speaking cultures, we often avoid being too direct when we have a problem. If you walk up to a clerk and say, "This is broken, give me money," it sounds like an attack. But if you use a buffer, you make the other person want to help you.
I definitely need that. I want to be able to stand up for myself without feeling like I'm starting a war every time a coffee is cold or a shirt is torn.
That's the goal. By the end of this episode, you'll have a 3-step script that you can use in a cafe, a clothing store, or even a hotel. And if you want to keep building your confidence for these everyday situations, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell. We release a new lesson every week to help you talk about your real life, not just grammar rules. We want you to speak English about your life, not just study it in a book.
I'm ready. Let's start with that first step. What do I say the moment I walk up to the counter? I feel like the first sentence is where I always freeze.
We call this the soft start. Instead of leading with the problem, you lead with a polite warning. The most common one is, "I'm sorry to bother you, but..." Now, you aren't actually apologizing for doing something wrong. You are apologizing for interrupting their day with a problem. It's a social signal that says, "I am a polite person and I need a moment of your time." When you start with, "I'm sorry to bother you, but..." the clerk immediately relaxes. They don't feel like you are going to shout at them.
Ah, okay. So it's like a secret code for "I'm a nice person, please don't be mean to me."
Exactly. Let's practice that together. Speaker 2, try saying it with me. "I'm sorry to bother you, but..."
I'm sorry to bother you, but...
Good. Now let's try another one. This one is great if you think there's been a technical error, like on a bill or a receipt. I think there might be a mistake. Notice how we use the word might. We don't say there is a mistake. By saying might, we are being less aggressive. We are leaving room for the other person to check. It feels much softer and more collaborative.
I think there might be a mistake. That definitely feels less like I'm pointing a finger at them.
It really does. Let's try one more for the soft start. This one is very common and very effective. "I was wondering if you could help me with something." This works because you are asking for help before you even mention the problem. People love being asked for help. It puts them in a position where they can be the hero.
I was wondering if you could help me with something. I like that. So I have my soft start. Now I have to actually tell them what's wrong. This is where I usually get stuck on the vocabulary and start using my hands to point at things.
Right. This is step 2, describing the problem. You want to be clear but not emotional. Let's look at some common items. If you are in a cafe and your coffee is cold, don't say, "This coffee is bad." Try, "I'm afraid this coffee is a bit cold." In this context, "I'm afraid" is another buffer. It's a polite way to introduce bad news. It's like saying, "Unfortunately." Ah, okay. So "I'm afraid this coffee is a bit cold." And I noticed you used the word bit. Yes, a bit cold. Even if the coffee is ice cold, we say a bit to make the complaint sound smaller and less like a big drama. It keeps the energy low and professional. Let's look at a clothing store scenario. Imagine you bought a shirt and you found a hole. You could say, "I've just noticed there's a small tear in the sleeve."
I've just noticed. That makes it sound like I just found it this second, so I'm not coming in with hours of anger.
Perfect. You're getting the hang of the psychology here. What about a gadget? Let's say you bought a pair of headphones that aren't working. You might want to say it's broken, but let's make it better. It doesn't seem to be working properly.
It doesn't seem to be working properly. Why properly instead of just "it doesn't work"?
Properly means the right way. It sounds more specific and professional. And "it doesn't seem to be" is softer than "it isn't." It leaves room for the possibility that maybe you just need to push a button, which makes the clerk less defensive.
Okay, let me try a whole sentence combining step 1 and 2. I'm sorry to bother you, but I think there's a problem with these headphones. They don't seem to be working properly.
That was perfect. If I were the clerk, I would immediately want to help you. You sounded professional, clear, and very natural. Now, once you've explained a problem, you need to reach step 3, the solution request. This is where you tell them what you want to happen next. Do you want a refund? Do you want a new one?
This is the part where I feel the most nervous. I feel like I'm asking for a gift or a favor, even though I already paid for a working product.
I understand that feeling. But remember, as a customer, you have rights. You just need the right way to ask. We use what we call the outcome question. We often start with, "Is there any way you could?" For example, "Is there any way you could exchange this for a new one?" Or, "Is there any way I could get a refund?"
Is there any way you could? It sounds like we are looking for a solution together, like a team.
Exactly. It's not a command. It's a question that invites them to say yes. Another great one is, "Would it be possible to?" Would it be possible to speak to the manager? Or would it be possible to get a credit note?
Would instead of will. That's the conditional to be more polite, right?
Yes, it's like you are asking about a possibility, not demanding a reality. It gives them the space to say yes or to offer an alternative. Let's put it all together. Speaker 2, I want you to try the whole 3-step script for a restaurant where they brought you the wrong dish. I'll be the waiter. Go ahead.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I think there's been a slight mistake. I ordered the grilled chicken, but this seems to be the pasta. Would it be possible to swap this for the chicken?
If I were your waiter, I would say, "Oh, I am so sorry. Let me take that back to the kitchen right away and get that chicken for you." You are so polite that I would feel motivated to fix it fast.
It actually felt good to say that. It didn't feel like I was complaining or being a difficult person. It felt like I was just solving a problem.
That is exactly what we want for every learner. We want these phrases to stay in your mouth, not just in your head. When you talk about it in English, you want it to feel like a natural conversation, not a memorized speech. Now, we've covered the soft start, describing the problem, and the solution request. But we have to be realistic. What if they say no? What if the clerk says, "I'm sorry, we don't give refunds"?
That is my nightmare. If they say no, I usually just blush and walk away as fast as possible.
That is a very common reaction, but you don't have to give up. You just need a polite follow-up. If they say no, don't get angry. Take a breath and say, "I understand that's your policy, but given the situation, is there anything else we can do?"
Given the situation, that sounds very professional, like I'm a lawyer or something.
It is a very strong phrase. It reminds them that this isn't a normal return because you changed your mind, it's because the item is faulty. Another good one is there someone else I could speak with about this? You aren't saying, "Get me your boss." You are saying, "Is there someone else I could speak with?" It shows you are serious about finding a solution.
I think I need to practice these a lot before I can use them in a real store. My mouth needs to get used to the shapes of these words.
That's why we do shadowing. This is the most important part of the lesson. We are going to go through a full scenario now. I want you, the listener, to repeat these lines out loud. Don't just think them in your mind. Say them. Feel how your tongue moves. Feel the rhythm of the sentence.
Let's do the headphone scenario again. I'll be the customer and you can be the clerk. Listener, you are going to be on my team. Repeat after me. We will go slowly at first.
Perfect. Listener, take a deep breath. Repeat after speaker 2.
Hello, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'd like to talk to someone about these headphones I bought yesterday.
Repeat that now. Hello, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'd like to talk to someone about these headphones I bought yesterday.
They don't seem to be working properly. There's a strange clicking sound in the left ear.
Your turn. They don't seem to be working properly. There is a strange clicking sound in the left ear.
I was wondering if it would be possible to get a replacement.
Repeat. I was wondering if it would be possible to get a replacement.